I am me, myself, my environments, my projection, my parallel, my perpendicular, and my principle. That many I am. And if all that many of me are not understood, not felt, not taken care of, not loved, and not put together, I'll just die as unknown mystery, unremembered and forgotten. That is the story of every man or a woman born in the ribcage, the dungeon of karma. In my ecstasy of consciousness, I see the skies, I see the stars, and I know and I feel the movement and the magnetic field and the infinity and the light and the darkness. But in that culture of so much happening, I am a very, 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 extremely, very, very lonely, a slave of the dungeon of the ribcage. I hear music, I create music, I know rhythm, I know voices, I hear the birds, I hear even the fishes talking. I'm trying to see and feel everything in the world I know. And I know the sounds and the sounds which I can't hear. But I am the slave of the ribcage, and nearest to me is my heart, and I do not recognize its very sound. So arrogant and so ignorant and so much in duality, I keep living. Each day gives me the message of beauty, of bounty, of prosperity, of flourishness, of blossom. I am going and going and going and going on the path of infinity, cycle after cycle, prayer after prayer, grace after grace, rosary after rosary, feast after feast and fast after fast. I have gone through the passage of life, but still I am the slave of the dungeon of the ribcage. Many have called me human, many have called me beast, many have called me lower being, some people have called me higher being. Sometimes I do experience the infinity of God and the light of the heavens shed through me, and sometimes I spoke the word of truth which God gave me to be. I was channeled, and many times I am just lowest of the low and the creature and the dungeon of the dirt of the human caliber and behavior, and I in that duality keep on living, but still I am the slave of the dungeon of the ribcage. Now I feel the touch of God has touched me, and I am free. In that freedom I feel the ecstasy of light. I am polite, I am good, I am God. Now work it out. Is it not enough that you paid at the gate? Think about it. And this is what man in own introduction can say. You have the right, you have the privilege to introduce yourself. God created you. Are you with me? God? Guru Kiran Kaur, did you hear me what I say?
Yes, sir.
Good. God created, but God did not manifest you. You and your manifesto is a work, very sincere, very powerful, with deep understanding, very sophisticated. Nobody will tell you this, not even a spiritual teacher. Because a spiritual teacher in his deep understanding is afraid that if he takes you over as a student, then here and hereafter he is responsible. Sometimes you come and say, why should I accept you as my teacher? Why should I want you as my teacher? I say to you, when you say that, a good teacher will say, thank you very much. And he should feed you and serve you and bless you and send you out as fast as possible. Because he's saved. The spiritual realm starts here and it never ends. That's why in human consciousness, we want every human to initiate itself, himself, herself, and then offer to be baptized. That's why in Dharma, baptism is allowed, initiation is not. Weaker people, lower teacher of just time and space, who can only project face, can give you initiation. If a human is not strong enough to initiate himself and herself, that person is not entitled to baptism. What is baptism? Baptism is you and your manifesto. You only know the law of creation. You must learn the law of manifestation. And you must know your manifesto. And with that manifesto and with that power, with that knowledge, with that depth, with that understanding, you should walk unto the infinity of God as you are most welcome, you are most appreciated, and that is your real home. In the depth of consciousness, in the sensuality and sexuality of these nerves, in the power and the play of the overplay of the tattvas, you are fully understood. You are a darling mess, creatively beauty, absolutely pretty, and consciously unconscious. Because you do not get into the very sophisticated, real nature of you. God created you, it is agreed. God is with you, agreed. God is within you, it is agreed. You know your God, it is perfectly agreed. But what is not agreed is the agreement between you and your own manifesto. Your manifestation is totally your manifestation. It is not the art or the science or the work or the thought or the imagination or the creativity or push and pull of any star. Because by right, you and your magnetic field is independent and sovereign, and it has only a counter relationship with total existence. You've got to understand the depth of it, the effect of it, and the truth of it. In all realms of manifestations, you must understand that it is through that fact of life of the one who has walked through those channels, you will solve the puzzle of manifested life. You have no problem with the creative life. Creation is the law and the gift and the principle and the guidance chapter of Almighty God, the Infinite One, who is everywhere and who shall be everywhere, now and forever. It is the manifested realm of consciousness and the creative self of you and you alone. That is that loneliness. Blessed are those who feel very lonely and feel tremendous pain of that loneliness, that they can understand they have to find a companionship of the manifested self and connected with the infinite self. And they are the one who feel the path, who feel the God, who feel the human, who feel the compassion and the goodness of the visit of the planet Earth. In our creative joy, we enjoy. In our creative joy, we feel the player and the displayer. But those who give themselves, those who offer themselves as humble sacrifice at the altar of humanity and uplifted the spirit of those it was not in whose destiny written to even see the lifted up self of the infinite God. And they offered a manifesto to them, led them and created them to lead to that path which they could not have walked in their weaker path and weaker steps and their dangling legs when they couldn't make it. They created a sound of such inspiration that they leaped up to heavens and touched the infinite God and sat in the very bosom of infinity, which is the real home. And that is the manifestation of man. Though his teeny tiny, two minor, little flesh-like, bone-like legs cannot carry it anywhere. But when, with the courage and the beat of his own drum, watching and sensing and feeling and understanding of his beat of the heart, playing that music of that drum which plays in the very ribcage of his, it walks to the house of stones and walls only with the manifestation of idea of his own infinite mind, that is the house of God. Though there are better and priceless homes, well-maintained and well-looking and well-being is the principle of that, but still he sits in that house of bricks, which is in reality is the magnetic infinity of the light of God, and in whose bosom he sits and enjoys the infinity of Godhood. And that is where the slave, born in its own ribcage and enslaved into the dungeon of the heart center, creates the creativity of that infinity of Godhood. And thus he feels what he has been talking, he has been saying, he has been shouting, uttering, yelling, screaming, or speaking the word love. In the depth of the self, when everything is lost, the experience of love becomes a manifestation, a ecstasy, a bewitchment. And so many people in the hands of those who are arrogantly ignorant have been burnt alive, crucified, tortured, killed, because they could not bring their senses to the earthly senses of fear and manifestation of fear. They were so great and so vast and so manifested because their manifesto was with them forever and ever and ever. Those are God's. In the diagram or in the cartoon or in the shape or in the picture or in the printing of that of a man, have no doubt God does manifest through its own beings. That's why he creates so many, but too few he gives a manifesto to serve the master. And when they serve the master with the reality and with the truth and with the understanding and the purity of being slave, then something unique happens which nobody can say except the one who experiences. The masters become slave and slaves become master. And that is the unity in the polarity of law of rhythmic science, in which all energies coincide into the oneness and uniqueness of the only nucleus which exists in heavens, and it is experienced in earth. That's why planet Earth is the earth planet of experience, whereas life in every other heavens is just a life of scale, which in England is called schedule. Those who know the rhythm of God, the celestial music of heavens, those who have deep understanding of the power of the infinite, and those who have seen the blossom spray of the beauty of the infinite, are the manifestations of simple self. And that is how the slave of the dungeon of the heart, from the very rhythmic beat of it, understand and energize himself to the infinity of Godhood, and reaches to the height of the height and become the crown of the entire Godhood. Then at that time nobody cares for his birth, for its death, for its actions, for its reaction. And that is the wonderful life of those who can conquer the law of karma. They become the law of the dharma, in whose heart then there is no dungeon, then there is no darkness, but the God dwells in the glory of his own ecstasy. As I read, then I say, and you must were reading this morning, and what was those last pauris you read this morning? Do you remember them? Karma Khandaki. You were reading in a very rhythmic manner. I just heard it. How was it? Can you read it again? What was it? I just translated. You were so lovely and so rhythmical and so musical. I thought I should translate what Guru Nanak said in your language. Because you spoke in the language of Guru Nanak, I heard him and saw him, and I was here. And he spoke. And he spoke through tiny, tiny lips who couldn't even exactly translate and exactly pronounce. And couldn't understand it at all. But they had the depth of speaking it. And what is more powerful than the spoken word? I heard it, I absorbed it, and it manifested in me my own manifesto. And love of Nanak totally bathed me and quenched my all thirst. That thirstiness which was in existence, was coming in my neighborhood, in the house of Guru Ram Das, and some people from Northern America, or you call it United States, untold to the language, but familiar with the words, unknown of manifestation, but very creative, were manifesting something that I thought in many parts together, a united psyche has been created. And Guru Nanak has born again, speaking its own words in rhythmic, in such a melody that sometime he became a woman, and sometime he became a man, and sometime he became all. Whatever I could understand, and I understood this morning, I wanted to share with you this evening. I wanted you to understand that your visit this morning to this beautiful house of the Guru has not gone unanswered. It was pure. And then I saw, to my surprise, to encourage the spirit of you, along with the rhythm and the beat, which I saw the martyr was singing and creating the immortal Guru Nanak, I saw millions of angels in the transparent bodies dancing, and such a huge dance manifested. But when you said Sat Sri Akal, then I saw they all shaped themselves into the infinity of undying God. And I saw all of you who were sitting in this house merged in it as somebody who has burned in the desert for a long journey gets into run to the oasis and the little, that lake of water, which is the full of nectar of life. And all that manifestation was so creative that in my prayer I got enriched, my soul got brightened, and I became infinite. I just want to let you know what happened to you this morning at the time of sadhana. May the long sun shine upon you. Now what we have to depend on Sri Ved Singh, and if he doesn't agree to, then Gurtirat Singh is here, then he should give him a, what is called a legal argument that this tape may be prepared and given to me tonight, and copies be made, and you study this, and then come to the class tomorrow. Lot has been said for your soul and for yourself. And that's what Naad is. We have 2 birthdays. One was this morning and one was this morning. And nobody sang to him this morning. Where is he? He didn't show up on his birthday. We have to sing in absence. You brought the cake? No, you didn't bring the cake? You both are fighting these days or in love? No? In love? Huh? Okay. Who brought the cake? You brought the cake? Then we'll sing for you and eat the cake in his name. That's the agreement? Alright, sing to these people. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear And take his name loud and clear. Good. Happy birthday to you. Well, as far as the story of Sacha Singh and Kaur is concerned, I don't have words to say. Because they are the manifestation of infinity, correctively, and they have followed me anywhere I've gone. So, I am with them all the time and they are with me, though still we have to sit down between us and we have to talk in private, so don't look at things. But however, this earth is very small and it rotates. So sometimes the changes in the time puts a lot of pressure and our tear ducts create a lot of water. And it is better to smile and take it easy. It's a very wonderful day. It's Monday, right? And yesterday energy has not yet gone out. I do not know what day it is and where we are, but I was told in the next neighborhood, some people are there, they are beautiful. So I came, and I hope we know each other somewhere, that is all right. But feel good, we are here. And so long we are here, there shall be peace. And there shall be prosperity to the mankind. If your love permits you and your hearts carry you, we'll meet again tomorrow sometime. But don't forget to wish happy birthday to people who are born at the time of sadhana. Remember? It creates a lot of protest. Satnam.